Hey, Max, we're going to talk about, what was it again?
What are we going to talk about?
No, I'm serious. Come on. It's, creme. We're going to talk about creme. Shit, I better edit that out. I got to sound decisive, I can't be one of these indecisive people. We're going to talk about creme espresso machines today, Max, and I'm actually pretty excited about this because I think this could be the one. I was going to say because you look a little bit pixelated, although that could be because you haven't been using moisturizer. It's difficult for you. There you go. There you are. There you are. Hello, Max.
Hello.
Are you on the right network now?
I think so.
We've got a lot to get through. Actually, we don't have a lot to get through. We're going to talk about one machine, and they've only got 4. Thank God they've only got 4 models in their lineup, so it shouldn't take too long. And actually, they actually kind of make sense. They structured it well. I don't know what they're thinking. Or having said that, they are not Italian, so
well, where are they from? Spanish?
Spain. Yes.
Well, that's kind of Italian, really.
That sounds like a very kind of, pre-invasion statement. It's like you're Italian. Well, come over. We're friends.
Yeah, I mean, we're cousins.
Yeah.
Like we say with Greeks, one face, one race.
We'll just send like the Russian soldiers. They were in Ukraine on holiday. So you were around here. You were around here yesterday. There goes our one Russian listener. You were around here yesterday.
I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
I wasn't.
Allegedly, the eye in the sky. Okay, you went. If you were, then you would have tasted some of the chocolate I gave you. And I didn't give you any of this rum with pineapple and coconut because I kept that for myself because that's the good stuff. I've been eating that. It's interesting. It's got little pieces of pineapple in there. Anyway, I was having that. I was slurping that down with a cup of coffee whilst I was waiting for you to sort out your technical problems. So I thought I'd bring that up. So we're going to talk about the creme one. I think this could be the one because I say that every time, but this really could be the one because it's actually got the most important thing going for it. Do you know what that is?
It makes coffee.
No, that's of secondary importance. The most important thing is that it looks like a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica. I'm sure I mentioned that to you I'm sure they meant. Oh, wait, what? You know Battlestar Galactica, right?
Of course.
Oh, for the love. People I have to work with. Battlestar. I can't even tell it to you. This is an epic cult sci-fi. Epic cult sci-fi series. Go get on Netflix. In fact, stop the podcast right now. Just go watch it. We'll come back in a couple of weeks when you finish. It's very, very good. Anyway, so the machine looks like a Cylon, as all coffee machines should do. And that's the number one thing going for it. So now that it's past that benchmark, and every time I come down, I look at it, I'm going to feel like I'm in Battlestar Galactica, which is amazing. However, before it gets over the finish line, we need to just check that it actually can make a decent espresso. So that's what we're going to be doing today is going through and asking some questions. I'll be asking the smart questions. But because I'm asking them, it means I don't know the answers. You'll be answering the smart questions.
I will probably be answering some of the questions.
And then there's a couple of dumb questions I threw in there just because, we want to cover the spectrum. But before we do that, Max, I have got a memo from marketing. It's never a good thing. At least it's not a memo from HR.
Yeah.
I need to read this to you. We've got some instructions. Dear sir or madam. It's kind of you would have thought by now they would know, Anyway, it has come to our attention that your podcast is not lying enough, as recent events have taught us. In order to compete in the competitive landscape we now face, telling the truth is no longer a luxury that we can afford. We have compiled some clickbait titles for your consideration. And I need to run these through with you, Max. We need to pick a few clickbaity titles that can get more traffic. That's what it's all about. Okay. So what do you think of the first one? Housewife from Birmingham discovers secret to making great espresso.
Yeah, sounds cool.
I don't know if you get those in your Google feed all the time, but I get that all the time. Housewife from Espresso amazes her kids with this recipe. You won't believe what that kind of thing. So we could definitely leverage that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can go straight in with, the old never fail. Does espresso make you a better lover? Now, this is a clever one because it doesn't actually postulate the lie. It asks the question. It's a perfectly reasonable question.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it probably doesn't, but it doesn't matter. We're asking the question, does it make you a better lover?
Mm-hmm.
So we could put that could be a title. 10 ways of making espresso that you never knew possible. Number 6 will shock you.
Oh yeah, that's a common one.
It's a good one. It's a good one. All we need to do is think of 10 ways. In fact, most of these things, they just lie. They're all the things that you know.
Yeah, also most of the times they're 5.
Yeah, then you never get to number 6 and you're wondering where did number 6 go? And you keep looking. And that's what they want you to do. Keep clicking. Keep that click rate up. Finally, this is a separate thing they're mentioning here. On a trip last year to the zoo, we noticed how popular the monkey cage was, especially when the monkeys were hurling poo at each other or hitting each other over the head with sticks. We're not saying that hurling poo is practical for the show. Brackets, is it?
No,
but perhaps...
But I mean, I could aim my ballista here.
But perhaps it can serve as inspiration for you to come up with your own ideas. Seriously, we can't do all the thinking here. Yours sincerely. So just something to think about for later. Maybe we can talk about that offline. Yeah. So good old marketing department. How much do I pay them again? I don't know. Too much really.
You don't. And that's too much.
Yeah, exactly. Pay peanuts, get monkeys. Oh, God. Creme 1. So this is if you haven't heard of this, what?
If you haven't heard of these, it's because probably you were trying to get into their website and it's a flipping labyrinth.
Wait, I just went onto their website and just got on. What are you talking about?
Yes. And then I was trying to find all of them because if you Google,
you can't
find the Creme 1 of them.
Yeah, you get the one of them.
But then if you try to go on products, you find everything and everything.
Yeah, because Max, you see, well, okay, first of all, they have a marketing department that understands that if you give people choice, people don't want choice. People just want to be told what to get.
No, the marketing department is, I don't know, but the website, I think, is being designed by a bunch of hamsters on LSD.
Well, I don't know why you mentioned hamsters. My son's hamster died last week. It was very sad. It was
probably overworked by working out the website for
working out the website for Creme 1.
WWW1, which is also funky.
Yeah, they look. But can they make espresso machines?
I don't know. So you go on products, and then you have our brands: Coffee Queen, Expo Bar, and Spengler.
And what?
Spengler. And then you have some...
Sounds like an underwear site. What?
Yeah, and then you have CVS, Horeca, and OCS, Executive Guest, Conference Break, Volume, Dining, Segments, Things. It's as if someone took the 200 pages of corporate talk, because it is a manual that is written, that you have to say those words at constant intervals if you're working corporate. And blend it all together and put it on there. This makes 0 sense and gives you no information, but it's got the keywords and the buzzwords like conference, break, behind the counter, executive, volume, guest.
Did they mention a line? Did they align anything? Because that's when you know the management's got involved.
It's probably there is alignment in here, but I don't really care enough to look into it. I only wanted to see the bloody coffee machines. So you look at Coffee Queen, for example. That is nothing that is of interest for us because it's something that is born in Sweden, legacy of Värmland, Coffee Queen is our brand for manual and automatic filter coffee brewers. So at this point, you know that you don't care. So it's service thing.
I didn't even know there was this angle.
Yes,
to
it's
them.
stuff that you find in hotels, in the ones that you press and you get the coffee out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not what I was after. Then Expo Bar is definitely not Creme, but it's Expo Bar. So I know that it's a different brand. Was a different brand. So I know that one is probably the one I'm after. Then I'm gonna go on Spengler, which I don't know what it is. Spengler, again, automated coffee machines. These are probably for deploying in corporate places. Like a touch screen with different selections of coffee and cappuccino. Different.
I've used one of these.
Yeah, we have something similar. I think it's from
at work.
At work is rubbish.
It is rubbish.
I mean, the coffee machine itself is actually good. It's the coffee that is rubbish because it stays there for months and months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you click on Expo Bar because you're looking at Creme 1, and of course you have to click on Expo Bar, and that's where it is. And Expo Bar obviously gives you 1,000 different Expo Bar coffee machines. You see that there is a 3-group, 2-group with grinder, 3 groups, all of the sort, and then you start getting one that is the one we're after, and then there is also the office line, which is the Expo Bar, the old Expo Bar, which is an office line, and you have Office Control 1 group and Office Pulsar 1 group.
All right. I get where you're going with this. Basically, what you're saying is that they need to pay us a large consultancy fee to go in and rationalize, because we need to use words like this when we're talking to big business. That's how you make it.
It's not about rationalizing. It's the people that will buy these coffee machines or that will be interested in these coffee machines, they don't really care about the other ones. So you might as well put them in a different website because you're targeting a different market.
Listen, Max, let me just explain this in management talk to you. Okay, what you need to do is you need to refine the customer journey.
Huh?
You need to refine the customer journey.
Okay? No, you need to
we're not inspiring. We're not inspiring people here. We need to refine the customer journey to make an inspirational new imagination of the brand. I'm telling you, that's how they won't really understand it, but it sounds so good they'll just write a check. So you're right. This is absolutely crazy. Let's just get beyond this, however. Clearly, they do need to, like Apple, like old Steve Jobs did when he came in, and Apple was literally on its knees about to go busting. I think they had 2 months worth of cash. One of the first things that he did was obviously grab a bunch of cash off of Microsoft that gave him a bunch of money just to keep them alive. Why did Microsoft give them money? Because otherwise Microsoft looked like a monopoly, and they needed to have a weak partner there that existed that was credible so they didn't get sued by the antitrust authorities and people. So they gave him a bunch of money. So he took all that money. And then what he did was, very interestingly, is that he cut all the products out. And he just said, look, we got way too many things. Just cut this, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Let's focus people. Kind of you need to do the same thing here. But once you eventually got through the little hamster maze, and you found your way to the one, which is under the Expo Bar thing, which is no longer called Expo Bar, but no one's obviously told the people in the Expo Bar group that. They haven't got any business cards either, I've heard, is that it's now called Creme. And this is actually quite a new thing. I think this is going back to, in December, I noticed on some of the websites here in the UK that they were having pre-production models available to testing. And I meant to contact them and say, I'd love one. But then I was busy. So I wrote to them on Friday and said, look, if one's still available, do send one over. I haven't heard back from them yet.
Yeah, so, I'm not sure they would.
Yeah, they're too busy laughing. God, can you imagine all the people that say to them, "I would like a free machine, please. I promise to give it back," perhaps.
Of course.
But I actually might be in the market to buy one. And this has got a few things going for it. So basically what you've got 4 machines here.
Yes.
And what's interesting, there's no single boiler, right? So these are all either dual boilers or heat exchangers.
Yes.
And and I can't even find my way back.
I told you.
I can't. I'd curse you, Max. And I'm gonna have to go into Google. Do you know when a site's broken, that the only way to get to the page you want is to go to Google, not on the site itself?
Yeah.
Creme One espresso machine.
So, but to start with, there are four machines here that look pretty much the same, and they all have the next one has a more obscure name than the previous one.
Yeah, they just go for more and more obscure names. So,
Yes.
And that's how they charge you more. You don't know what it is, but it's got more letters after it.
Yeah, it's like those when you buy a car, you buy a certain car, and then it's got some letters thrown in, and some letters and number thrown in, and that's
like the SE. It's got the SE. Ooh,
SCWT 7.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Oh, that means because that's a different engine. How do you know?
Yeah, it means it's got 7 cup holders.
It doesn't make any sense.
So, look,
sorry, I think
let's get over, Max. Come on. Okay, rant over. Let's get over the whole complicated thing, and let's talk about how, because these machines actually warrant some inspection, because they've got a number of things that are actually pretty cool about them.
Yes. For example, for one, they are shiny boxes.
They are Cylons, Max.
They are shiny metal boxes.
Yeah. Now, I know you don't like that, but it's not your thing. And actually, you've turned me around by saying I actually really like, not about what I like, what I don't like, but I think I value having variety in the marketplace. And also you think about the La Marzocco Linea Mini, for example, that's not a shiny box. It's original Italian design. Whether it's your design, not your taste, or your taste, doesn't matter. The point is they're giving you a choice, that someone's thought this through. They've taken a bold step, even though, I have my own feelings about the company. Good for them for having their own design ethos and step and whatever. And they've taken that, and they don't just follow the sort of the safe average. It's like a Hollywood movie, when they're on the 3rd version, and you're like, oh, please just reimagine it. Come up with a new concept. They don't. They just,
why don't we reboot instead something?
Let's reboot. Yeah, let's go back to. Oh my God, what are they going to do? The Wolves.
Sorry, we're ranting a lot today.
Yeah, we are a little bit. So going on to this machine.
Yes.
The first version, they've actually got logical steps to the to the price increments. So the first version actually
is actually a single boiler.
Oh, is it a single boiler? Yeah, it's a heat. Wait, is it heat?
1B sounds like one boiler.
That's not the one. Okay, so the one I'm going on, the ones that are available to buy in the UK. The ones available to buy in the UK, if you go to, let's go and give them a plug. If you go to, because these are the people I wrote to and begged to give me a machine. Go to Bella Barista, and they've also got a very high rating on Trustpilot, which is why I went to them as opposed to some of the alternatives. Apparently people really like this company. So they've got good customer service. So I went and looked on their site. They've got 4 that they list. And the first one is the Creme One HX PID WTWC, which rolls off the tongue beautifully. It's almost like poetry. And that one starts at £1,349, which is, I don't know, hold on a second. Alexa, what's £1,349 in US dollars?
£1,349 is about $1,879.69.
So it's about 1,000. Yeah, go away now. So it's about 1,000. It's supposed to be polite to these robots, apparently.
Right.
Just stop it. God, it goes on. If I can be more helpful, if there's anything else you need, Nick. No, thank you. Still listening to me. I know it is. $1,800-ish. So it's coming in. It's a heat exchanger, but it's got a PID. Now, here's one of the interesting things that I like about this machine. I generally don't like I've had an issue with heat exchanger machines, mainly because of the calculations that you have to do. because they normally give you the boiler temperature, and then you have to calculate the temperature at the group head. So that's number one. I don't like to do that. I get a little manual out and say, well, hold on a second. I want to get 94.5 degrees or 95 degrees at the group head. What's the boiler temperature need to be?
Because in theory, you're not supposed to change it very often. That's why the PID is obsolete.
I change mine every day, depending. I've got a dark roast in the morning, a lighter roast in the afternoon.
You do.
I can't be the only one. No, I can't be the only one.
But they don't cater for these.
I know I'm special, but I'm. And what Creme has done, clearly I'm not the only one, because they've recognized that, and they've done, and this is like such a slap on the forehead, Fred Flintstone kind of of course you need to just do the translation. I mean, that's what computers were invented for. Do it on the bloody machine. And so that's what they do. So they tell you the group head temperature based on the boiler temperature, but also according to my terribly good friends at Whole Latte Love. I don't know who they are, but that guy that does all the reviews there, who's really actually really good. He says that the temperature variance between the boiler and the group head on this heat exchanger machine is the lowest that he's seen, and that it's got incredibly good temperature stability, which got me all excited, thinking that this actually might be a viable option for me.
Absolutely. I still find it funny that there is so much variability among different heat exchangers when using the same group head.
Yeah, it's the basics. Why can't they get that right? Anyway.
I think it's serendipity, to be honest, in terms of what's happening in there. It's just a matter of how often it's probably a software thing, because to be honest, the thermosiphon is the same roughly in all of them.
Well, they've done something apparently, and then he said, "Don't worry your pretty little heads about it." He didn't actually say that, but he kind of did. He sort of said, "Look, it's very complicated. I'll explain it to you another time." But he said that they're doing some stuff. It sounded like they were doing something magical. They had some, I don't know, proprietary approach, let's put it that way, to getting that variance right down, and for making incredible stability in that temperature and accuracy. So that got me kind of excited. This is a machine for £1,349 that looks like a Battlestar Galactica Cylon. It's basically, and by that what I mean is it's very smooth lines. There's not lots of knobs and switches everywhere. There's a lot of symmetry, which I quite like. It's got a manometer, which sounds very manly, which is basically just 2 meters in one on the bottom left, which is out of your eyesight. At the top end, angled up towards you, nice little touch, instead of just facing straight forward, is the display, which does the shot counter and obviously all the settings and everything on there that you've got, which I think this is the one area I think they could have put just a little bit. Those little black buttons look a little bit like they're off a radio on a Ford Escort, but okay, isn't it? But okay, it's a minor little gripe. The rest of it is really smooth. It's very clean lines. You've got your steam one, which goes all the way down to the bottom on the left-hand side. You've got a drip tray. Let's talk about the drip tray for a second. Did you see the drip tray?
It's a drip tray.
No, it's a big drip tray, but it's also the middle part comes out so that you can fit big, taller glasses in, which I really like.
Marginally big, taller glasses, because it looks like it's probably 1 centimeter deeper.
No. It's I've seen it come out. It's more than a centimeter. It's like an inch or something like that.
So it's 2 centimeters.
Don't knock the inch if you that extra inch is important. Yeah, but
Sorry,
I mean, look,
2,
it's enough
1.
to get a scale on. It's enough that you can put a scale in.
That is the point. So it looks like it's the size of a scale.
Yeah, that's basically it, of a thicker scale. So plus it's got that lever that for actuating the pulling the shot, which I know you're a huge fan of, and I particularly
yes, I consider it utterly silly.
I love. And again, a lot of attention to detail. There's a shot mirror at the bottom if you're using a bottomless portafilter. It's just a mirrored surface at the back of the machine by the drip tray, so that you can looking down, it's reflecting up into the bottom of the shot. So if you are using bottomless portafilters for the reason of which you're meant to be using them, which is as a sort of a training thing, then you actually can see how your shot is sweating and then and eventually coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is going to be amazing the first 2 months that you have it.
Yeah.
After that, it's going to be a little hazy. And then you're going to start cleaning it. And once you start cleaning it, you start scraping it a little. And then you're going to have a very nice pattern of scrapes.
They actually say on there, it's a good point, that it's a polished machine and you must use soft microfiber cloth.
Mm-hmm. Not like coffee that spills is abrasive or anything, is it?
Yeah, I did. This is actually, with all the bits of coffee grounds and everything else on there. God, you just see, these are the practical things. It's a bit like,
I know.
I was thinking about doing a review of my Gaggia Classic with the PID and all the mods on it. Now that I've got all, stuff and I've had it for a couple of years, I thought, you know what? I need to update the review we've got on the site and put it on it. But I started to take some pictures of it, and in the photographs, it looks so dirty. I can't get it clean. It's not like all those other people that do reviews that have clean machines. My machine,
they don't use them.
This is exactly what I thought. I thought maybe I'll get some extra credibility from the fact that this thing looks like it's used 6 times a day, because you know what? It's used 6 times a day, and for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely, I think I will do it, and I'll put it up there, warts and all presentation.
But anyway, to go back to these, the thing that has this machine has going for me is the pressure profiling knob.
Oh, that's the later model. That's the later model. But then now you're right up. Okay, well let's move on. So
wait. So in the website of Bella Barista, the picture of it doesn't have the knob on the left, but if you look at the details, it says pressure profiling knob.
I think it's a mistake. I looked at that.
Because all of them have the pressure profiling knob in their picture.
Yeah, so, I think what they've got a picture with all the little lines coming out saying what everything is, and I think they put the same picture for all the models. I don't think they all come with the twiddly knob. I think the twiddly knob is up for the high end machine.
And that's what I think. Because I was looking also in their website, in the original website, and doesn't look like the other ones come with it.
No.
Which, guys, this can be a big letdown, and people can actually return these things, because they might.
I know, because they got the wrong. Okay. I mean,
might give the wrong
spending
idea.
This much money, you might want to ask a few questions to the people first. But they do actually say at the bottom, this item can be returned. So I'm not quite sure what the returns require. But I wouldn't. I mean, I like to joke around, but I wouldn't actually take a machine, review it, and then return it without telling them I'm going to do that first and making sure that's okay with them. But I would. I would just say that they've got a very good, if you're going to take a look at them on Trustpilot, people seem to think a lot of their customer service. So I'd give them a call first.
Absolutely. They are a very, very famous website. It's just, I'm just saying, this is a little.
Yeah. It's a little misleading because
it can give the wrong idea.
Yeah. And especially we've got so many bloody acronyms, the HX, PID, WT, GSP, all the rest of them that you've got the GSP later on. We'll come to that. So, but what you've got, the fundamentals of each machine is you've got from this level on anyway, you've got the PID control, which actually seems to have some pretty nice functionality to it. I would have preferred it was a little bit more, maybe a little bit more advanced, but it is updatable. So you could, if they're keeping it up to date, you could get some new functionality added in there. I like the looks of the machine.
What kind of extra functionality would you get?
So the sort of things I suppose I'd be looking for, and I don't know if this is included. It's one of the things I looked and I couldn't actually see, was whether you could set the times and it would keep the times when it would wake up and heat up. So you remember that was the thing on like the Rancilio that really drove me nuts, was that you had to sort of say, wake up in 7 hours, like every day, and that was just so annoying.
But that can actually very easily be solved with a £20 or less smart plug.
Yeah, the problem, people have sort of said that those smart plugs can break your warranty because if they miss, yeah, there was a thing. I may have been on a Reddit, I can't remember, where somebody was saying that their plug malfunctioned and turned on, and the machine was on for too long, and then it caused a problem, and the machine company said, "Oh, sorry, darling."
Wait, the machine was on for too long? These things are not supposed to be turned off to start with.
They said that it was, and it was on for too long, and something burned out. Anyway, look, I'm just saying that if it comes in with the machine and you're keeping it stock, then that's all better. But I don't know. Maybe they can add some additional functionality. Clearly, the update is never a bad thing to have the ability to do software updates.
Absolutely.
Unless hackers do the software update for you, in which case, obviously, it is a bad thing. That's another story.
But that's okay.
So it's got that. It's got a steam wand, which goes all the way down to the drip tray, which is nice. It's got a drip tray, which you can take the center part out to put scales in, which I like. It's got a proper dedicated hot water dispenser. It's got an E61 group head with kind of an interesting proprietary pre-infusion area. I don't know if this one has it. I don't think this lower model has it, which is part of the reason why I'm probably looking to go a model or two up. But it has got a large water tank, 1.7 boiler, which has got a PID controller on there, vibration hump, cool touch wands, half turn knobs, which I like. If I'm going to have a knob, I prefer a lever. But if I'm going to have a knob, I don't want to have to twiddle the thing like 360 degrees to get the steam on and back off. So it makes it much quicker to turn on full power and turn off. It does say, and I do believe this is correct, that this machine can be connected into the mains as well, which I think is incredible for a 1,300-pound machine.
It's a very good option, but I think you might need to have a different option, because I don't think that you can connect to the mains one with a vibration pump.
Well, I believe I've seen some companies, and I need to look into this. I'd love to have a conversation maybe with Bella Barista and to get more data from them. But I have seen some, and we were talking about this last week with La Spaziale, where they have a chamber which allows them to use a vibration pump and connect to the mains, where it has like some intermediary area where it I don't know, allows you to do that.
Basically, the only gain you get from that is not to have to refill the tank.
Correct. It's not helping with the pre-infusion or anything.
Yeah, so I wouldn't go for that personally, because
No, I need pre-infusion. Yeah. So we go up to the next one. So the next one up is the dual boiler PID WTWC. Now the WTWC, if you haven't got it yet, is basically your water tank. So it'll either go water. You can either put a tank water in. You can either fill the water via a tank, or you can connect it to the mains. It's still a vibration pump. Still a PID, but this time you've got a dual boiler versus a heat exchanger. And my question, Max, this is where I put you on the spot, my little engineering friend, is so this is another £200 more. You're spending £200 more for a dual boiler machine with basically the same functionality as a heat exchanger, from which we just said earlier has got really accurate, apparently, thermostability. What would be the benefit, therefore, of the dual boiler? Why? And I can see why it would cost more to make, but why would you care to have that?
Because you preheat the shot of water that goes into the coffee like that. So if you have your PID, let's say, you can have two different temperatures. You can have one temperature in the heat exchanger that is whatever you want to say is I know it. It's what heats up the group head, but then you don't have the heat exchanger. So it's not a heat exchanger at that point; it's a thermosiphon, and then you don't have the heat exchanger anymore. So you don't warm up the water as it goes. because that water will be at a different temperature in theory. So see it this way. You have a boiler and you have heat dissipation in the thermosiphon. So you're cycling hot water into the group head. So in order to get the group head at 94 degrees, you need to have the boiler with the thermosiphon at a much higher temperature, say 120, 140, no, 130. Let's say 130. So you're losing that heat because of the thermosiphoning. It's dissipating into the group head, and the group head gets at 94. Now, when you go and have a heat exchanger, you have cold water going into the heat exchanger, and you also have water sitting in the heat exchanger pipe, which is hotter than it should be. This water goes through the group head. It gets cooled down in theory, because if you manage to heat it up to 130, it gets cooled down in the group head, and then it hits the coffee. So you're not really sure what temperature you get in the water at, because that is dependent on the flow rate as well. Because say you grind too fine and you have a too slow flow through, your water is going to heat up more than it would if you have a faster shot, because it has a longer residence time in the heat exchanger.
Got you. So
if you have two boilers, your second boiler, which is the one that actually delivers the water to the coffee, it will sit at the right temperature, because you can set that up and say, I want these at 95 degrees. So while your group head gets heated at the right temperature by having the boiler and the thermosiphon at a higher temperature, your brew boiler is at the right temperature. So it's at whatever you set it at, and that's how it works.
Right. And and I guess they're using a pressure stat in the heat exchanger as well, which I believe is a little bit more. I think
it's a PID. It would be a PID. I mean, you have already one, so you might as well use it.
Oh, okay. All right.
In the heat exchanger, probably in the heat exchanger, you might have a pressure stat. It depends. I don't know how they would do it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So, okay. Well, so anyway, I mean, I for me, it's like if I'm going to get a dual boiler thing, it's got to have at the very least, it's got to be mains adaptable and have pre-infusion, which this doesn't have the pre-infusion. So
what do you mean? Doesn't it have the self-designed pre-infusion thingy?
No, my friend, you got to go to the next model up for that. This is how they get you. So the GSP stands for gradual soft pre-infusion. I'm surprised you didn't know that. GSP. This is the dual boiler. So we're now on the next model up, the third model of the four in the line that you can get here from Bella Barista, which is,
and we are already sitting at £2,000. Actually, 2,100.
2,100, but that's before you haggle. You offer him, I don't know, something, and you got a bit of haggling. And
then it's 2,090.
And then he'll throw in a bag of coffee for free. So this is the Krim One dual boiler PID-R GSP WT WC. So that actually, what does the R stand for? Ridiculous name, possibly.
R? I don't know. Yeah. In cars, it sounds like sporty thing.
Oh, so no. Fast. Obviously, no. It's the rotary. So now this, exactly. So this could be the one. This is actually the one I'm most interested in, unless you convince me to spend another 500 quid for the next one. But so £2,100, bearing in mind that alas, this is a business expense, and I will get the VAT back on it, so it'll be whatever it is, 1,600 quid for me. So. Blah, 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 blah. What did we say? Okay, so this is got a rotary pump, which means it's quiet. Quiet is good, because in the morning I do my yoga, do my meditation,
and then you don't really want to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, remember one thing: when the steam tank goes down in level, to fill it up, the pump kicks in, and it kicks
Yeah.
in with no warning whatsoever. So you might be turning on your coffee machine, and all of a sudden it goes,
Yeah, I don't like
which
that.
is unpleasant.
Yeah, it's like the difference between driving a Ford a 1970s Ford Escort in first gear down the motorway versus your BMW 7 Series as you cruise along. I say yours, I don't have one. But I have driven a Ford Escort in first gear. Was it reverse? I can't remember. It was like the gearbox got stuck, and we only had 2 gears.
So much choice.
Oh, the fun. Kids these days with reliable cars, they don't know the kind of fun that we had pushing cars down the motorway. Everyone used to jump out and help out. It was all kind of like, you'd see some people pushing their car down the motorway, you'd jump out, you'd give them a hand. That's how we used to live. I just want to say yoga-wise, but I want to actually congratulate the National Coffee Association, who are having a virtual conference this week, I believe on the 3rd in, I was about to say in America, but it's virtual. So it's anywhere you are, where with an internet connection, possibly not for you, Max, because you need an internet connection. But they are at 1:45, they stop the conference and they do yoga. Ooh. This is the National Coffee Association of America, have got yoga embedded into their virtual conference. Good for them, because everyone's stuck on their bleeding Zoom calls for hours every day. So
don't you like your Zoom marathons?
I do them all day long, and your eyes at the end of the day, you got these red staring eyes. I would call it the Zoom stare. But you just can't take anything more in. So this machine.
Okay, Zoomer.
Yeah, this machine. Okay, Zoomer. Oh, I like it. I even get it. That makes me trendy enough. I only know that because my son told me. The boomer. It's a boomer reference, right?
Yep.
Yeah, thank God. Okay, I did get it. Cool. I am cool again. So this could be the machine for me, Max. It could be the machine for me. $2,000. Inclusive of VAT. It comes with a rotary pump. It comes with this gradual soft pre-infusion. Now, the way that pre-infusion works is in the chamber of the E61, they have a special thing. Don't ask me to explain it because it's very technical. I don't want to have to, blow your minds. Also, I can't remember. But it has a special thing that apparently this chamber drips water. It spreads water into the puck in a gradual and I guess soft pre-infusion way, so that they say it allows you from between 0 to 20 seconds. So you can set a variable time for the pre-infusion anywhere from between 0 and 20 seconds for the puck to expand and to fill up very softly, so that you're going to have a much reduced chance of channeling. And that is very important to me because I do blow it a few times when I'm making.
So basically what they have is the pump that kicks in a little later.
They've got a thing. You have to go and take a look. Go take a look. I tell you who shows it is the fellow on Whole Latte Love, and he opens it up and he shows you the thing that they've got inside that I think it just drips the water in evenly. So it's not just going into one part of the puck, but it's going in to all parts of the puck and making sure that it expands. I think that's the idea of it. So I really like that. And it's got the rotary thing to it. So, and the PID, and it's a dual boiler. And it kind of ticks all the boxes. And you think, that's all I need. That's all I need.
But you can't do pressure profiling.
But then you look at the next thing and you think, oh, but for only 500 pounds more, actually 450 pounds more, it's even better. In fact, if I take the VAT of the 450, it's only 300 and something pounds more. See, now
that is an old person's picture. There's a video. There's a video.
Yeah. God, that old person is the owner. Thanks. You just blew my whole chances. See how much I was sucking up to them earlier, just hoping they were going to give me a test machine, and now you've blown it. That's the owner. That's the boss.
That's the owner of what? Creme?
No, the owner of Better Barista.
Oh.
Yeah. Thanks, Max.
Well, he's not young, is he?
None of us are young anymore, Max.
What are you talking about? I'm super young.
Well, okay. I was hoping just to group us all together in the same cool club like you, but okay. No. Right. This is the machine that has everything that you had before. I'm sound like a salesman, right? So you could go, and there's nothing wrong with those those cheap machines that I showed you earlier. They're perfectly good for beginners. But for the true serious professional, my friend, let me take you this way.
Okay.
I'd be great at selling cars. So really, when you think about it, this is a lifetime purchase. You owe it to yourself to go and buy the one with all the buttons and knobs. And this has the knob on the side. And what I really want
also
to know,
the knob in the front sometimes. The one using it.
Yeah, that's right. That there's two knobs on this machine. the one on the side for the pressure profiling, and the one turning the button. So the knob on the side, this is, I believe, the only machine that comes with a knob on the side. The most important question, Max, I don't know if you can, this is a technical question. It's a bit engineering, it's a bit scientific.
Imagine.
Yeah. It's a bit like that book, whatever it was, that Mars book. That guy has to science his way back home. What was that called, that book? That doesn't matter. Anyway, the question is the button plastic or metal?
It's metal. You can see it in the picture.
Oh, fantastic.
It's aluminium.
I was really worried.
Actually, it looks like aluminium to me.
It looks like aluminium to you. Okay.
Which would make sense. It's easy to turn. And probably is being laser engraved.
Oh, when you say easy to turn, you mean easy to lathe?
Yeah.
No, not easy, because obviously I'd imagine if they made it difficult to turn, it would be a pretty useless knob.
Yeah. then it would be three knobs.
Yeah, the one who designed it. So this knob actually looks incredibly cool. I have watched this in action. I've watched this. I would love to seriously try this machine. But this knob is like, imagine, in those BMWs where you've got the central twiddly knob. Oh, I know, because you drive a BMW. I drive a BMW.
No, I don't.
Oh, sorry, you don't. But you do. And you do.
No.
Okay, all right. I drive a BMW, and it's got a little knobby thing where you can twiddle the knob, and the thing works really well because you turn to go through the menus and you push down on the knob to set. And this is basically what they've done, is they've stolen that idea and they put it on the side of an espresso machine, which I think is great because it's cheaper, frankly, than a touch screen. Also, I never trust touch screens to not, I think they're just going to fail.
Well, also, what's the point of having a touch screen in this case? For these, because you want to adjust it as you go. What I would have done, but I am crazy. I would have actually connected a servo to it on the side, belted inside probably, and then you do one program, and you find that, I really like this profile. And the servo records it at the same time, because you can move the servo and the servo knows exactly what position it's being moved into.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
They do that.
Do they?
I've seen it, yeah. You adjust the pressure as the shot's pouring.
Yeah.
You turn the knob, you adjust the pressure, and then you can save it down.
You can save your profile.
Yeah.
Then they listened to me. Good.
They did. They read your mind and they said, what would Max do? So the engineers all gathered around in a room. They huddled in a secret location. And having spied on you for a couple of years, they have a big picture of you on the wall.
Thank you.
They just asked the question.
I am flattered.
What would Max do? And they sat there for 2 weeks. They weren't allowed out. They were only just served food in a little cat flap through the door. And they weren't allowed out until they could come out with the answer. What would
that is actually brilliant. And I mean, a servo that can turn this knob is probably £5. So it's really cheap. It's a really cheap solution, and you can program it in Arduino. It's one of the easiest programs to put down. So what you do is you record the position of the servo over time, and then you replicate that. So you just say, okay, I want exactly the same, and it will do exactly the same in the same time frame that you had it. And it will also move that knob thing on its
It's
own.
just a knob. You can call it a knob. It's not a knob thing.
Yeah, you will see it turning on its own, like it's haunted or possessed.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I don't know if that works. I need to try one out. I really might. This is seriously a contender for me to buy.
I think there's a lot going for it.
Mm.
It's just it's pricey, but it's
not
one
that
of the
pricey
only
for-
ones where you get the pressure profiler properly.
Exactly. It's got a really good pressure profiling implementation. When you compare this to something like, okay, let's take the La Marzocco Linear Mini, which
Mhm.
frankly is not an expensive machine for what it is, but it doesn't have pressure profiling. It's got the paddle, which you think is pressure profiling, but isn't. Just pushes a button.
Mhm.
That's a dual boiler
In
machine.
that case, wait. In that case, it's not actually pressure profiling, but the ones from like the Slayer is flow profiling, different.
Absolutely.
Gets the
So do you want
same.
to- yeah, explain it.
So it gives the same effect, but it's a different thing. So the flow profiling, you can actually do it even with a Gaggia. With a Gaggia Classic, you have to change the pump. You have to use a different pump, not the normal Ulca pump. And you can put a dim switch. And you can then change the rate at which the pump turns or moves, and that delivers a different flow rate. And that makes the same, it has the same effect really. In this case, you're skimming a certain amount of water that is above a certain pressure,
Mm-hmm.
while with flow profiling, you are changing with a needle valve or by changing the speed of the pump, you're changing the delivery, the amount of water that is delivered. But in that case, you have you don't change the pressure. It has the same effect.
Yeah.
Because it still affects the amount of water that goes through the pack in a unit of time.
Yeah, I remember Slayer bringing in the local fire department with their fire hose in a video on YouTube to explain pressure profiling. It's quite good. Yeah, I mean, okay, it's quite dramatic. So this is a machine I really like. Now, there's one thing that I don't know whether I like or not. And we're not going to end on this. We're going to end on a high note, but we're going to end on the second to ending thing I want to say is that the frame is not metal. It's a polycarb frame. And they say they did that on purpose because they said that during shipment, a lot of frames were getting bent because the boxes would get dropped and put down hard and the frames would bend a little bit.
So they made it more brittle?
So they made it, no, the polycarb frames apparently are flexible and they will bend rather than, they will flex and then go back into shape rather than bend. They also said, and this I do believe, the first one I kind of believe a little bit. The second thing I also believe, which is that if you're making a metal frame, you naturally have, unless you're going to go for a very expensive, like Apple does, milling process where you've milled exactly, the layout, which is a very expensive thing to do. That if you're just kind of assembling and welding bits of metal together, it makes it very hard to design the thing for intricate electronics to fit exactly into. Whereas if you're molding a plastic thing, you can make it so that everything fits exactly into place.
Yeah, you can injection mold it.
Injection molding, thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
That's very good actually to do. I mean, it's not cheap for consumers, but it's very cheap when you have large amount of things to make, because a mask for injection molding costs about 5,000 pounds, give or take. And then the injection molding process itself is just a few pounds.
Yes, cheap. Yeah. So that's what they've done. And what that means is that they can fit a lot of the components much tighter together and basically make a lot better use out of the space internally, which means that the overall footprint can be quite small. So you take a look at this machine, it's for what it is, it's not that big. And
it's the one with a person next to it.
Yeah, it's not small, it's not big, it's a sort of like, it's a mid-size, but when you consider the size of the boilers and everything else they got in there, it's actually not bad.
True.
So
There isn't. I mean, I don't know, to be honest. There isn't much else. I mean, the main size is taken by the boiler.
by the boilers, yeah. Yeah.
So unless you do like in I think in the Giotto or in some of the coffee machines we've seen where you put the boiler vertically,
Hmm.
there's not really much you can do about it.
Yeah. So now I said I wanted to end on a high note, and that
Sorry, I
is
spoiled
that,
it.
and that is that there are side panels and things on there that you can take
Mhm.
off and customize. So I know they've got a wood kit. The wood kit doesn't appeal to me for some reason on this machine. And I think it's partially because you spoiled it for me by saying everything looks boring when it's chrome. And now I feel like I have to express myself in a more of a unique way. And also partially because it would no longer look like a Battlestar Galactica Cylon if I was to put wood on it. I mean, although I was just thinking about this. Imagine in the future, right? And you've got your army of, or you've got your personal Cylon, killer robot, and you're looking at it and you're thinking, this is too much chrome. I'm going to get the wood kit for my robot. You can get put a little wooden head on it and things like, that looks much better. So I didn't want, so the wood kit I kind of wasn't keen on, but I have seen some other side panel kits. And frankly, getting a polycarb colorful side panel to it, unique pattern, would be dead easy. There's like 4 screws that go in.
I also just had another idea for these kind of things that I am not going to disclose right now because I think it's a business opportunity.
Oh, mum's the word, Max. Mum's the word. So overall, I have to say I say this every time, but this time I mean it. This is really going on my list on the short list of machines that I might buy. So we're going to finish off doing. I know we've got probably a couple more models to get through. We want to look at maybe the Profitec, maybe the Lillet. Is it Lillet? No, what am I talking?
Lillet.
Yeah, Lillet. Yeah. Maybe get through those 2. I can't remember.
Rocket.
And the Rocket. Let's do those 3, and then wrap it up.
And then you're gonna buy these.
And then I'll just buy this one. Yeah, no, I'm very interested to look. I mean, the Profitec and the Rockets, you have to look at them because they are so popular. They're so popular, but and the Lillet's got some. I mean, it's getting a lot of traction now, and they're doing some interesting things.
They do nice machines. I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, all of these machines, they all have this, not the same, but very similar parts. Because it's a metal box with an E61 stuck on it.
Yeah.
And things you can change is the software inside, which I mean I call it software, but I mean the engineering of the parts. So you can have a pressure stat or heat exchanger, dual boiler, but at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. It all ends up in the same way. And then the care, the care with which they've been put together.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
And that's one thing that I don't know yet about these because this comes from Expo Bar, which was a bit on and off in terms of QC and quality. So hopefully they made a step up. But Expo Bar, they are. I think I've always heard that they are very nice, very good, but they don't last very long, or they're a little finicky to have. Not like Freshino, for example. Freshino is typically problematic, and I've always heard that. I'm sorry about that, but I'm just reporting what I've heard. I've never worked with one, so I'm more than happy to be shown the opposite. But I've always heard that it's so and so.
Well, this is why I really want to have a look at this. And in particular, also that polycarb frame, I'd really want to see it and feel it.
That is interesting.
Yeah, because it could be great, or it could be a disaster. I don't want to spend $2,500 on a machine that's going to last 2 years and then something's going to break.
I wonder what's the boiler made out of?
Metal.
Metal.
Yeah, it's made out of it. It's a completely metal boiler.
Which
with
metal?
I think it's copper.
Okay.
I was looking at. I did know the answer to that. I'm going to say copper because it makes me sound smart, like I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But actually, I don't remember. I could have been. It could have been something else.
Okay. It doesn't say. That's the
Pretty
thing.
sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not stainless steel,
And that's already a win for me.
which means it's almost certainly stainless steel.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Look, if it's 1.7 liter steam boiler, if it's 1.7 steam boiler and a 1.2 brew boiler, that's large for a stainless steel boiler.
That's a very large brew boiler, actually.
I know, but that's one of the things they were
so
saying leads towards very good temperature stability.
Well, no shit. You have a massive amount of thermal mass in there, which
That's
is
right.
good.
Yeah,
which is good, obviously. But I think it's not. You don't need that much.
Of course, I don't need that much, Max. But then, whenever I ever bought something based on,
but not you.
Oh,
you general.
One generally. Oh, right.
One generally doesn't need that much because by the time that you get, I mean, it's easier to heat up to temperature 200 ml of water than 1.2 liters.
Yeah.
And of course, once it's at temperature, you're going to keep it at that temperature, and you're only going to exchange 50 to 100 ml. But I don't know. I find it wasteful to have so much. And that is the point that was made in the Victoria Arduino Eagle One Prima.
That's right. Yeah. Well, just talking about value for a second, that Prima, that single boiler machine was, what was it, £4,000 or something?
Roughly, yeah.
I mean, it's twice the price.
It's in a different league. They don't do the same. They don't do the same sport. I think it's a completely different machine.
I wouldn't say necessarily the espresso is going to taste completely different. Not going to taste £2,000 better.
Probably not, but I think it's those are designed for example, those are designed for small businesses. So it wouldn't be strange in a small cafe or in a small bar or in a small thing that is closed at the moment, but will eventually reopen, that serves coffees. Not too often, but it will serve coffees. One of these, with pressure profiling and everything, this is for consumer.
It's true. I understand what you're saying. So it's the use case for it is it's a different use case,
and that's why I find a bit funny that in that case you have a smaller brew boiler than in this one.
Yeah, because I think the idea is that it's filling very quickly. And
yes, but if I want to make one coffee, I have to heat up 1.2 liters of water. Yeah. So it's like when you're making one cup of tea, you boil a 4-people kettle full to the brim. Pointless. You're wasting energy.
Yeah. Okay. That's something to consider, but it doesn't put me off.
No, it's just I am to nitpick. I am hired to nitpick.
Yeah. No, you absolutely. And the marketing department will be very happy to know that we are metaphorically throwing poo at each other. Although they might try to move from the metaphoric to the actual, but
I see.
If that is going to be the case, I'm not going to tell you in advance. I'm just going to ambush you. Listen, it says here boiler construction, and then in order to confuse you, it throws every metal at you. It says steel, brass, and amp, copper, nickel, plated brass, amp, copper. So I think the amp means that they put in some HTML which didn't get translated properly, but basically they're saying steel, copper, nickel plated brass, and copper.
Nickel prick.
So that confuses me, but it does cover all the metals.
You know what's the funny thing?
It's definitely one of them.
In the website, in the Creme One website, there is less information on Bella Barista.
I know Bella Barista gives way more information than the website, but that's because the website people have got a job for life. The Creme One people there, they don't even know the organization is probably so large and big. They don't even know those people are on the payroll. They probably don't even turn up. They probably come in sort of, a couple of times for Christmas party. They come in for the Christmas party and that's it. I had a friend in Italy who had two jobs, one with some state company, and the union there just said, look, just don't bother turning up. Just get your paycheck. Go get another job. So he's got two jobs. One's with the state company. I think it's a post office or something, and he never goes to work.
I'm not surprised.
Never goes to work, but he just gets his money. It's not a big pay, but doesn't actually do anything. Then he has his other job, which is his real job.
Per hour, he's paid a lot.
Per hour, yeah, per hour, it's fantastic. Max, let's leave it there. You've been talking way too much on this call.
I know, as usual.
This went on for a while. I thought this would be 30 minutes. So much for that.
No.
Next week, should we do which one should we do? Let's not do the Profitec. Can we do, you choose, Max.
Rocket.
Oh, good choice.
Bam.
I'm going to mute that so no one knows. I'll just say good choice.
Good. It's nice. We're going to talk about Rocket.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm really looking forward to talk about the rocket machines.
All right, fine. I'm not going to mute it. It'll just that's now already too much work. No, it's too much work.
Oh, I think you're going to have lots of fun taking all the rockets out.
Please stop.
I'm just going to sprinkle them here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So next week,
will it be Rocket, Max? Yeah, great. All right, buddy. You have a great rest of the day.
You too.